Hey, welcome to the final video in the series. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found it really useful. A lot of common sense stuff, right? But maybe not necessarily common practice. In this final video, I'm going to share with you something called the rapid profiling method. This is also an adaptation of the works of Tony Robbins. And what I want to talk about here is a really simple way to show a person round for the very first time and have a high probability that at the end of that tour they actually join your gym. Now, many years ago, when I used to sell memberships for a living, working for Dave Wright at Creative Fitness Marketing, we had a really lengthy kind of profiling that we used to take people through. They'd sit down, they'd fill it in, and we tour them round. It'd be like almost like a therapy session. We'd be with them sometimes for like half an hour, 45 minutes. I found that in today's day and age, we just don't have time for that. We don't have time. The consumer doesn't have time. The headspace and the attention is just not there for that anymore. And frankly, we need something that is easier, that is faster, and that will still be just as effective. And what I found is that this rapid profiling method, if you do these three things, you have a much higher probability that when people come through the door, not only are they likely to join, but they're not just going to join based on your facilities. Hey, look, the museum tour, which is a joke from our old friends at CFM, the museum tour used to work. The museum tour that we used to joke about at CFM was kind of, here's the treadmills, here's the cross trainers, here's the rowers, and actually it was the reason why, a large part, why companies such as CFM were in business, because they knew, and I was trained very well, how to tour people around. Now, what I found though, is that the people that you're showing around are going to expect to have a process where they're showed around a lot quicker. And they're going to be very visually stimulated because they're going to be seeing things they've not seen before. So what you've got to do is, in the time that you're with them, you've got to, if you want to stand out as a gym, there's some key questions that you must ask, three in particular, which if you ask these questions, will really make you stand out from the other gyms in your town and in your space. Because most gyms don't do this. Most gyms are relying on the fact that they've spent a lot of money on their treadmills, they've spent a lot of money on their cardio and on their free weights, and they're relying on the fact that people are going to want to join just because of their facilities. And hey, don't get me wrong, I don't want to downplay your facilities, but somebody can always come in that has better facilities than you. Look at it this way. There are people that would work in an organisation for less pay that has a better culture than another organisation where they earn more money but don't. There's 2 times in my life where I've left a job where I was getting paid very well, but the culture of the organisation just didn't feel right. Tony Robbins has got this saying, which is success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Everybody knows somebody who maybe earns a lot of money but isn't happy. So my point is this, is that your facilities are great. It is one part of your selling point, but it isn't the only part. And if you really want to stand out above all the other gyms in your space, you want to use the rapid profiling method. So let's get into it. Number 1, when people walk through the door, the first thing you want to do is you want to ask them, what do you want? Here's the thing though. Most people will ask a member, you may say, well, I do that already. Here's what most rookie salespeople or gym managers or gym operators or floor staff do. They ask, what do they want? And that's all they do. Here's what the best do. Okay, Sandra, I heard what you want, but not, I get the 6-pack thing, I get the toned abs thing, but what do you really want? Now I sound like a Spice Girl. What that means is you want to challenge a person to get really clear about what they want. So let me give you an example so you understand the difference. If I go in a gym for the very first time, I might say, what do I want is, I want a gym that I can train in, and in terms of fitness goals, I want to work on my biceps and I want to get my abs back. A good experienced person will say, and what do you really want? And then I might say, what I really want is I really want to have amazing energy because I've got 2 kids and I'm married and I want to be great shape for my wife and I want to feel really good about myself. Notice that's a deeper answer. You can just feel the difference, right? What I've just said to you is probably an honest answer, because it's true. I am married and I've got 2 kids. I want to have energy for my wife and my kids. It's true. Didn't just make that up. So you want to ask people, what do you want? And then when they give you an answer, say, okay, cool. What else do you want? Maybe you could just ask that, what else do you want? Well, I also want this. Great. What else do you want? Well, I also want to maybe run a marathon one day. Great, amazing. What else do you want? So it's the same question, but it's what else? It's like saying you're a kid at Christmas, you're in the store, and dad or mom is saying you can pick any toy, you've grabbed it and you're going, great. Johnny, what else do you want? Johnny's like, I can choose again? It's like, yeah, go for it. What else do you want? Oh, and that one as well. Okay, good. That's 2. What else do you want? People are not used to that. People are not used to being asked multiple times, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? So keep asking. It's great. Get them excited. And it will show them that you're interested. All right? Really powerful. That's the first one. Next is you want to ask them why. This is freaking powerful. I'll never forget many years ago, 20 years ago, I was in a gym in Stevenage. A lady came through the door. She was an Earth profile, right? Remember that in the first video? I've only got 10 minutes. Show me around as quickly as possible. I don't want your sales pattern, right? Back then I was inexperienced, so I think I frankly gave her the quickest tour possible, trying to get rid of her, if I'm honest. But halfway through the tour, my mum's voice came in my head. She'd gone in the ladies' only changing room. She came out, and I said, Sandra, I think her name was Sandra, why are you really here? I think I kind of asked it half with an attitude, but half I did actually care. Like, it's kind of like, don't waste my time. And also like what I've now learned about kind of the shadow and Carl Jung's work around shadow work, too deep for this particular video, sorry. But it's kind of like she was wearing a mask, she was wearing a front, she had a persona. Don't want your sales pattern, I've got 10 minutes, show me around as quick as possible, blah, 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 right? I was like, why are you really here? Why are you really here? Why? I think I asked it with enough sincerity that it kind of pierced her thorny heart. And then she started crying. True story. Started crying and then she like unraveled on me. She said, me and my husband have been arguing, we've not been intimate for months and I'm worried he's either going to leave or have an affair. Broke down in tears. True story. Happy ending to the story. She filled in a membership form that day. She joined, she went home. 3 weeks later, her husband came in. I think she like dragged him in. 21 years later, they're still married and still members of that gym because I know the owner, Declan Ryan. Still married, still members of that gym. What's my point? My point is, Simon Sinek wrote a great book called Start With Why. Why is your motive for action? If I said to you, you're on a skyscraper and there's a plank of wood going across it, would you cross it for £10? The answer would be no. You'd be like, unless you're a daredevil, no. But if I said, imagine that the building that you're in has got terrorists in it and they're coming up and they're going to kill everyone in sight and eventually get to the roof and kill you and you're with your closest family and friends, would you attempt to cross the plank? Your answer would be yes. What changed? Your motive. So motive matters. So you have to, non-negotiable, on a tour, you have to ask people why. You want that, 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 why? You have to. And I would seriously not stop asking why until I get a really deep reason. Dean Graziosi's got this thing called 7 levels deep. I'm not going to go through it with you, but it's like, I want to, so for example, I might say, I want to make loads of money. And a great coach might say, why do you want to make loads of money? And I say, because my mum raised me on a cancer. Well, that one went well, didn't it? I'm going to keep filming for the benefit of the video because we're on a flow, right? That's hilarious. I'm going to keep going because that's so funny. That has to stay in the video. Dean Graziosi's got, I'm going to come closer. Dean Graziosi's got a concept that's hilarious, which is called 7 levels deep. And so the concept is, I might say, I want to make loads of money. And the coach would say, why do you want to make loads of money? And I might say, because I didn't have a lot of money. My mum raised me on a cancer estate in Birmingham, and my dad wasn't around, didn't have a lot of money. Why is it important for me to then have that? Well, because I want my kids to have it. I want my kids to have the ability to go where they want to go, travel, see the world, because I didn't have that experience. Why is that important? Because I want to be a role model to my kids. And you can keep going, right? So you want to keep asking people why is that important? Because the more why you ask them, the more motivation they're going to have to take action. And last one, I'm going to grab the whiteboard, bear with me. The last one, I'm just going to hold it. The last one is you want to ask people, you want to clarify and teach people how. So it's less of a question, and it's more about, now you know what they want, now you know why you want it, you now as the gym person, as the gym manager, as the gym operator, you want to now tell them how they're going to make that happen. So that's where you come in. That's where you come in now, and you actually teach them what is it that they need to know for them to get to this. And that's where you come in. And that's where you're able to provide a much better answer that is not generic. Worst thing that happens is people come through the door and they're just shown around the gym and they're just kind of told, here's the treadmills, here's the weights, knock yourself out. Whereas if you get into why a person wants something, you can then design a program that helps to meet that need. So then you get into the how, right? Most gym people, showing people around, here's the gym, and the how is kind of figure it out for yourself, or if you want to buy a personal trainer. This isn't designed to stop people buying personal training. This is designed to get people great results and get to a certain point, so that then if they do want to invest in a trainer, they can. But the point is, we want people to have a great experience, and we want people to have a great tool to increase the probability that when they come through the door, there's a high probability that they're going to join. So that's it. Hey, look, I hope you've enjoyed the series. I hope you found this useful, my hilarious collapse of the whiteboard. I hope you found it useful. And hey, look, here's another thing, right? Here's another thing that's really important about that. That wasn't planned. But here's what's really significant. In today's day and age, here's what I found. If you want to be the most successful gym in town, you want to be more vulnerable. You want to be more real. So you want to focus on building relationships with people. You want to focus on selling your gym, not just based on how it looks, but on how your people treat people. And a big part of that is vulnerability. We've had a whiteboard malfunction today, but I've kept going. And if you were touring someone round and something didn't go according to plan, or you didn't say the perfect thing, what would you do? You keep going. You don't stop just because it didn't go according to plan. And that's a really, really important lesson. I'm kind of glad that happened because it's illustrated that. Hey, look, I hope you've enjoyed this series. I hope you found this useful. My main thing I want you to do now, two things I want you to do. One is I want you to share it and actually implement it, what you've learned in these videos. And the second thing is, if you've enjoyed this so much so that you'd love to have a conversation about me maybe perhaps coming in and actually training this to you live in your clubs, then drop me an email. Drop me an email somewhere around the page, somewhere at the bottom, there should be a link for you to email me if you want to have a conversation about how we can maybe do a training. I have various different types of trainings: sales training, member retention training, referral training, answering the phone training, training for personal trainers, training for gym owners, training for assistant managers, training for gym managers. If you want to have a conversation about a workshop or some kind of workshop that we could do together, then drop me an email and I'll send you over a brochure of all the ways that we can potentially work together. But look, that's it for me. I wish you health, wealth and happiness. Make your gym experience the best it can possibly be. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Goodbye.